Welcome to the Temple Mount Podcast. My name is Shogun. Joining me today is my good friend Seth. We're going to take a deep dive into a very interesting conspiracy theory, which is the intricate web of symbolism, synchronicity, and occult significance around the tragic death of sports hero Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant is a great personal hero of my brother Seth, and he's done a lot of research into the gematria, the symbolism, the numerology surrounding this death, and what it all might mean. So before we get into that, make sure you've joined us on the Temple Mount Discord server. Like, follow, subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as to Odyssey, BitChute, and SoundCloud, and join us on the Temple Mount Discord server where we record the podcast every day at 8 p.m. Central. That being said, welcome, Seth. Thank you for joining me. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, brother. I just want to talk on a couple of topics here, man, that have to do with gematria, occultism, like you said. I want to touch base on a couple of things dealing with the Kobe Bryant death and the other 13 people who died on the helicopter. Well, it was 13, including him. So,
great. So how did you first become aware of this, or where did this sort of investigation begin for you? Like, when did you start thinking there was something more to this than just a tragic accident?
The very same day it happened, man, I was talking to a good member in here. Truth from Old Guy, if you see this podcast, man, I'm pretty sure you remember. But we were touching base on the very same day we were touching base on the Illuminati, the occultism in Hollywood and different stuff like that. And my ex-girlfriend of mine, she comes into the room while I'm talking about this with Truth, and she says, "Hey, Kobe Bryant just died." I go, "Wait, what? What do you mean? How did he die?" Helicopter accident. So me and Truth from Old Guy started diving deep into this, and as the days went by, I went deep into it. I started diving deep into it, and here's what I got, man. So, as many of you guys know, that very same year, January 26, 2020, that same day, Kobe Bryant died along with 12 others in the helicopter, including his daughter. And so after those series of events, we noticed around a month later that the coronavirus hit and the whole world would change forever. The coronavirus hit, and about 40 days after, to be specific, maybe even 41 days after that, that's when the lockdown started happening. COVID lockdowns, as many of you guys know, putting masks over our face and everything like that. Now, I'm going to dive deep into this point where it gets kind of weird. So I started doing some deep stuff on gematria that very year, about 40 days after that. And I came to the conclusion, a weird conclusion, a lot of people were talking about it as well on the internet, that if you went on the Google translation, which you can do right now, and if you put COVID translated in Hebrew, it comes out to Kobe. Now, a lot of people may say, you may be a little skeptic about it, but there's so much more that we're going to dive into right now that connect to his death and the regards of COVID. So as many of you guys know, on that day when Kobe died, he died in Calabasas, California. Calabasas, California is the 33rd district of California. Now, 33 is a big occult number. What does this have to do with that? Well, Kobe Bryant was deep into the depths of one of the greatest basketball teams in the LA Lakers, who has the most NBA championships, or second most behind the Celtics, I believe. The night before Kobe's death on a Saturday, he died on a Sunday. The night before, the LA Lakers played the Philadelphia 76ers. Kobe Bryant was born in Philadelphia. LeBron James, on that very night before Kobe's death, surpassed Kobe Bryant for the most points, moving up to the third all-time and most points, NBA points scored. Now, on the court of the Philadelphia 76ers, for some weird reason, I mean, I never seen it, but there was a snake, and there was a symbol on the court, and the snake, it had a sword right through it. And there's a symbol behind that message. If you look it up right now, people, you can look it up. It has a symbol that says join or die. So if you look into that, Kobe Bryant nickname Black Mamba. That's on the court where he died and everything like that. He was symbolized by that snake, by that black mamba, and he was born in Philadelphia. It's such a coincidence, right? But there's more to it. So we're gonna dive deep in here to where it says, okay, so when LeBron James passed him on the all-time scoring list on the court, it was join or die. But yeah, so LeBron James passed Kobe Bryant, right? And there's this thing where Kobe died the next day, and people started getting skeptic, like, wow, like what a coincidence he died right after LeBron passes him. There was this whole conspiracy already the next day, and it turned out that on the same day Kobe died, on the same day he died, there was a lot of confusion regarding LeBron James and where he was on the very same day. LeBron was not to be seen, no cameras, nowhere. Even on the day of Kobe's funeral, nowhere to be seen. He was not seen anywhere. Now, as many of you guys know, LeBron James is a very powerful man. He just actually became a billionaire today. They just announced it. He is a part of a secret society called the Boulets. Now, if you guys know who the Skull and Bones Society is, they were this big secret society. They still are. And they created all the 13 Ivy School leagues, as many of you guys know. And one of those Ivy Leagues frats created one called the Boulets. Now, if you guys are familiar with the Boulets, it's a big black society, secret society, and a lot of powerful black men are a part of that. And their whole saying is, feed the table. And LeBron James has a tattoo of the black Boulets on his chest. What a coincidence, right? Now, LeBron James also never went to college. He straight into the NBA as Kobe Bryant was. He dove right into it, and it's just what a coincidence, that he was in that. And there's so much to it, man. And another one is too, on the same day Kobe died, ESPN announced it, and this gets crazy. So when ESPN announced his death, it was around the same time of the Pro Bowl, the NFL Pro Bowl, which is similar to NBA, NFL. NFL is football, American football. At the end of the game, of the NFL game, the Pro Bowl game, the score was 33-38. Just the score, right? But if you translate that into Hebrew, those numbers, 33 and 38, it literally translates into Kobe dead. I'm not even, like, you can even do it right now. Translate the numbers, guys. It's all in there. Kobe dead. Crazy, isn't it? Now, we sit here and we decide, what is it that we don't know? Kobe Bryant was idolized, and he also had this famous workout that he called the 666 workout. It's on YouTube as well. He was into some very dark shit. He also had a children's book as well, and it was on the front of his children's book. It's his only children's book. There's a tree, and there's an upside down tree on his children's book. And as many of you guys know, that's a coded for as above, so below. Now, something just doesn't sit right with a lot of people. And in that very specific year after he died, it was in the month of the child sacrifice month of January 26th, and 13 people died on that helicopter along with his daughter. God rest her soul, Gigi Bryant. There goes to a lot of play into this. He was also 1 week before that going to sue a pharmaceutical company.
Do you want to listen?
3 of them that were taking the name Black Mamba and were putting opiates into those medications to get people hooked. The trial was set to start 5 days before his death, and he died. He died on a Sunday. And as a lot of you guys know, a lot of celebrities in the past, like Nipsey Hussle, great rapper, a California rapper, Juice WRLD, XXX Tentacion, a lot of these celebrities have been dying on Sundays. What's the connection behind it? You know? And they feel Kobe Bryant was the ultimate sacrifice to lead us into this, what we're in now, a new world order. And it had a lot of people's vibrations down, you know, ever since his death. And I truly believe that's one of the biggest sacrificial lambs that there was. Kobe Bryant and the rest of the people in those helicopters, God bless their soul. But yeah, man, there's so much more to it. Like, LeBron James ended up winning the championship that year. Kobe Bryant was 41 when he died. They ended up winning the finals against the Miami Heat, LeBron's former team, 4-1 in the finals. Kobe Bryant, in his last game, exited his game at 4.1 seconds. His last shot was against somebody wearing the number 41. I know it's weird, but the NBA, the NFL, and I think mostly those two sports show a lot of occultic symbolism, a lot of, you know, predictive programming. And to get into predictive programming, there's even a show called, I believe, Summer Heights or something like that. But it's on YouTube. If you look up Kobe Bryant death cartoon, there's literally a cartoon made in 2014 of him in a helicopter, and the helicopter crashes, and the three boys standing outside the helicopter say, "Hey, Kobe, pass the championships." And Kobe goes, "Pass," and the helicopter, boom, blows up. Now, just a strange string of coincidences, guys, and it just, you know, gematria, it all connects. It's a Hebrew. If you guys know what gematria is, if you guys don't know what it is, it's a gematria calculation of numbers and letters, and a lot of the elites have been using this for years. Now, to be specific on this point, I truly believe Kobe Bryant was the ultimate sacrifice, celebrity sacrifice for the New World Order. And what we're entering right now is some scary times, guys. In the next 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20, we are going to see technology integrated with humans. Right now, we are at the lowest level. A lot of us are connected with technology face to face every day of our lives. And soon, it's going to be inside of us. You guys may think, what does that connect with this? It has a lot to connect with it. Please do your research. It's so tragic that this had to come to it, but Kobe Bryant himself, I believe, knew this was going to happen. And he actually died a bit after the death of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. Now, 2 months after Kobe Bryant's death, they found out that Jeffrey Epstein was actually a part of his lighthouse business that Kobe Bryant had. Jeffrey Epstein played a huge part in that. Now, 2 months after people found that out, in the summer of 2020, Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was activated.
What?
I know, it's crazy, but it's a bunch of distractions. They're yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that presentation. It's very interesting. I'm just going to ask a few questions, and then we'll open it up for the audience questions as well. So it seems to me that, you know, what you're saying is Kobe Bryant's death was orchestrated to fulfill some kind of ritual or symbolic purpose, and it was all choreographed according to gematria and numerology and symbolism, and maybe connected to like a secret society, and was somehow to initiate coronavirus or the New World Order. So if that's all true, I see really only kind of two possibilities. One, we're in some kind of like a matrix or hologram or simulation, so all these weird connections like gematria are kind of naturally coded into reality. Like that's just the way reality is in this world that we're in. Or the other interpretation would be there's some like super powerful, omnipotent people who organize every little detail of reality to fulfill symbolic things, including like when people are born, where they're born, when they die. So which of those two do you believe? Like, is this just naturally these symbolisms are occurring, or is this people are doing this on purpose?
Had to figure it out on our own.
I believe if you are a part of these elite secret societies, you are going to pay a toll. And Kobe Bryant is idolized as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time, and he had a price to pay for that. Now, to go back on that point, man, his pilot.
No, I'm full. That was good.
He's one of the best pilots ever,
yeah, it was
dude.
good, but
That guy,
I
don't
like,
remember his name. I don't
like
recall.
it enough
But that guy worked for so many other celebrities.
But like one of
was
them
an absolute monster at driving helicopters.
Yeah.
And the whole, that day in Calabasas, California,
put less of that shit
the LAPD,
too. Like
every other person was told, do not fly in a helicopter. What was Kobe Bryant thinking?
Really, mine shot
flying in that fog
when I bit it.
with his daughter and the rest of those 12 other people. You know, the LAPD were grounded. Airplanes were canceled. You can look that up on that very same day, January 26, 2020, in Calabasas, California. They told everybody, do not go outside, do not be in the air because it's super foggy. And Kobe's pilot took them in the air and they died. Now, did Kobe actually die? That's another question. Is he actually dead, or did he and his family move to a different island? You know, I mean, who knows, right? He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. We're in a state of the world where, you know, they're trying to fucking integrate technology with people. Doesn't that sound like, you know? Doesn't that rub a little bit of gears to, you know, the mark? Who knows? But at the same time, man, Kobe Bryant was very deep into this. As I said, he definitely played a role in his own death, I believe. And I also believe that what you were asking there about whether it's a omnipotent people doing that. No, I believe if you're the only person, if you are a part of that secret society from a young age and groomed, you're gonna end up paying that price, man, sooner or later. And it's happened to many other celebrities. You know, as I said, LeBron James won the title that year. Did LeBron sacrifice Kobe? That question's up for talk too. I know it's gonna touch a lot of people, but this is a subject that you guys can dive deep into, the listeners can dive deep into, and I believe, you know, I might even be targeted for even talking about this, man, because it's just something that not a lot of people want to speak on because it's a sensitive subject. But the numbers connect, Shogun. The numbers are there, man. You know.
So do you connect this to like the sell your soul narrative, like that maybe Kobe Bryant like sold his soul and then was made like a sacrifice because that's like part of the deal is you have to like die at some point in exchange for like
everybody in those secret societies somehow are paying the price, man. And I hate to say it, but even Lil Uzi Vert, who's another big, you know, idol in the Hollywood narrative and the mainstream narrative of rap, said he was going to die at the age of 27. He turns 27, I think, next year in March. That's another big person to look out for next year. And, I mean, if it happens, we're going to make a podcast on that, man, you know? I'm not sitting here waiting on people's deaths, but the numbers align. They like to predict it. As Kobe Bryant was predicted in that show, Summer Heights, where he died in 2014, in that show, and the helicopter exploded. It's just, I don't know. I think they're putting it right in front of our faces, man. And
so it's got that predictive programming element, but ultimately you're connecting this, if I understand you correctly, to Satanism or Satan. Is that correct? Is this ultimately like Satan?
Occultism, Freemasonry, Luciferianism, all these people play a big role, and it's all leading to the Antichrist beast system. And as many of you guys know, what's happening today, man. Slowly but surely, they're already trying to take away our guns as well too. As you see, there's mass shootings happening every week now, every 4 or 5 days, and shit, even every 2 days at some point. But I'm telling you guys, we need to brace ourselves because right now the world is at a very low state, and there's going to be a time where maybe sometime in 5 to 10 years from now, the U.S. dollar is going to fall. A lot of currency is going to fall, and they're going to accept the cryptocurrency that everybody's talking about right now too. Mind you, the LA Lakers Staples Center as well, where Kobe used to play, LeBron James plays at now, changed from the Staples Center to the Crypto Arena. So it's called the Crypto Arena now. Crypto's taken over the game, man. I'm not saying don't invest
I'm
into
good.
it. I'm
I'm full.
invested in some crypto too, but that's the next type of currency that's going to take over the world. Which exact one? I don't know. Bitcoin's up there. You know, Elon Musk loves Dogecoin. Who knows? And maybe you guys can become millionaires off of in a few years. But to what cost? To what expense? You know. I mean, I'm just saying, man. There's so much that connects to all of this. I mean, it's. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's a conspiracy at the end of the day, but I don't know. A lot of it connects, man.
I guess I have more questions, but at this point, let's open it up for audience questions and participation as well. Thank you for that information, Seth. Does anyone else have a question or comment for Seth?
Yeah, 100%. I actually wanted to mention he mentioned about the idea that that this magical ritual that they basically this like encoded ritual that Kobe was a part of is something that they've done to other celebrities, and this is also very true when we look at the death of Princess Diana. Has a lot of these like strange coincidences and synchronicities and numerological things that are all connected to it, and also I believe the death of Michael Jackson also has similar things. He also postulated the idea that maybe Kobe faked his death and is living on some private island with Jeffrey Epstein. Like we don't know, but this is a perfect opportunity for one of these secret society people who have achieved hundreds of millions of dollars to easily be able to basically get out of society, become someone else, move to a private island on the other side of the world, and live their life getting everything delivered by helicopter, because they basically have unlimited money at this point. They have beaten the game with technically the help of Satan. And another really interesting idea that Seth postulated is the idea that when these people sell their soul, they become part of Satan's spell. And ultimately, I believe part of my unified theory on like what's going on here is our entire lives are actually complex, symbolic, numerological, magical rituals. Every single event that happens in our life, and like this kind of goes with what Shogun said, is like we live in like a matrix, and it seems like there's like this like repeating code, which I'd also tie into the spiral code. If you haven't seen that episode about the spiral code on Temple Mount Discord, check that one out. That's one of our best episodes. And essentially, like, basically, we each have our own individual, like, name spell, our own logos spell that makes what we are in reality. But all these people have basically been sucked into Satan's spell by making pacts and covenants with essentially the adversarial entity, getting all of the worldly riches, basically handed to them, but they pay the ultimate price that maybe they do have to actually die, and then that's when their soul goes to Satan. And in their contract, it could be like, Satan writes up a story where he's like, you will do this, you will become a professional, athlete, you'll make hundreds of millions of dollars, and the moment when you get to go move to your private island, you will die, but you will live a good life, and like, all of these different things. Like, it could be a complete contract. And then that's the moment where they're like, yeah, I want that life, and I'm going to make that pact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So if I were to try and summarize this, I'd say there's a few things going on here. One, you have gematria, which we've mentioned, but for some of the audience, they may not be familiar with it. So gematria was an ancient Hebrew Kabbalistic system of numerology based on the fact that in the Hebrew language, every letter has a numerical equivalent, which means that every word, sentence, or phrase also has a numerical equivalent totaled of the numbers. So if you were to take, like, my birthday, you would then get a list of possible numerical equivalences, and then you can find the synchronicity there. So the idea is that this is sort of like the mind of God, or the language of God, perhaps. And so you can find these connections in everything from like sports scores, as Seth is talking about, to anything else. But then there's another aspect here, which is that there's these like Illuminati, Freemason, New World Order, evil Satanist elites who are planning when to kill certain people on certain dates for certain symbols, to do certain rituals, to enact certain changes in the world, to bring about the beast system. And then that's like an additional level to it. And then the third part is like this ancient idea of, going down to the crossroads and selling your soul to the devil for the ability to play guitar or play basketball. So arguably according to this narrative, Kobe's unprecedented basketball skill was perhaps given to him in the same way as blues musicians or musicians attributed their skills to selling their souls to the devil. Is that kind of the gist of the theory?
Kobe Bryant was so great at what he did from high school, man, and he was the first player to skip college and play basketball at the age of 17. He was the first. He was the in the first round. He was picked at number 13. Um, and yeah, man, I don't think that the skill was given to him by Satan. I just believe that he was actually great at basketball. But that's still up for grace. But he became one of the most powerful basketball players of all time, and became the second billionaire behind Michael Jordan. Is the only basketball player to be a billionaire, and that happened a year before his death. LeBron James just became a billionaire today. I'm not gonna say LeBron's gonna pass anytime soon, but I mean, from what I'm seeing here, man, I think Kobe Bryant was the ultimate sacrifice for that, man, for these elites, and they connect a lot of the stuff to gematria. Like I said, the very same day he died, the Pro Bowl was going on, the NFL Pro Bowl, and the score was 33-38. You can go into the gematria calendar right now, get an accurate one, and put those numbers in, 33-38. If you guys are listening on YouTube or BitChute, look up those numbers, and you will see that the numbers equal to Kobe dead. Now, if you even look up the name COVID, and translate it to Hebrew, it's Kobe. What more is there to? How many more coincidences do we need? And the predictive programming part of it too, with that damn show. I mean, they're throwing it in our faces, guys, and shit.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments for Seth? Seth, I think you've done a good job of presenting your theory here. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, or any final closing thoughts?
These people are gonna pay, man. The people behind this and know the truth behind this, and they're gonna pay, man. And if Kobe faked his death, or if he's actually dead and was sacrificed along with those people, God bless them. That's all I could really say, man. I mean, the proof is there, guys.
Thank you very much, Seth. I appreciate you sharing your research on this. Maybe we'll do a follow-up episode in the future and go deeper into other aspects of related topics. But I think for now, this is a good introduction. Thank you to everybody for participating and your questions. And please make sure you've joined us on the Temple Mount Discord server. You can find our hundreds of great podcasts on YouTube, BitChute, SoundCloud, and Odyssey. Please make sure you subscribe, follow, share, like, etc. That being said, thanks again, Seth. God bless. Praise the Lord. And thanks, everybody.